I'm actually prepared to move this forward today with recommendation, and I would like to make that motion. But if it needs to go out without recommendation, then that's what has to happen. But I just want it noted on the record that I want it to go to the full board with recommendation because I'm in full support of this contract. I want to thank Carol Eisen, the director, and Director Graham, and the POA, Tracy McCrae, and everyone who really worked hard on this contract. And I want to thank our Chief of Police also for all the work he has done on reforms. I think that gets lost sometimes on how much San Francisco has done. This idea that we need to negotiate those in this contract, I think it makes it sound like they aren't working as hard as they can on the reforms, and I don't think that's true based on my experience, based on what I've learned, based on the hearings that I've attended, and also knowing that this crisis in staffing contributes to the very difficult job of reform. Because when you have officers that need to be out on the street that could be working on these reforms, it makes it even more difficult. I have to be honest, I am very angry at where we are as a city in terms of our policing. And I do not understand why people don't take the number that Chief Scott has said and that is based on a formula that we have agreed to, based on demand for service, based on the calls to 911, based on how those calls are allocated, priority A, B, and C, why that number of being 500 to 600 police officers short isn't having everyone in a war room 24/7 trying to figure out how the hell do we make that up quickly. Not over 2, 3, 4 years, but how do we fix it now? And this is a start. Right now, one of my dear friends is in the hospital because last night in the marina, he was attacked by a homeless person with a metal pipe because his mom called him over to the house because there were homeless people outside that wouldn't leave, had their garbage, were doing drugs. Not acceptable. I hope we haven't got to the level in this city where that's acceptable and we can't do anything about it. So when he tried to address it himself, because the police weren't coming, it's a priority C call. We don't have enough. We're 55 officers short in Northern Station. That's a real thing. And my friend who tried to deal with it got the shit kicked out of him last night, and he's in the hospital right now, and he might need brain surgery. He has a fractured skull, a broken jaw, and he had to have his face stitched up because he got beat up with a metal pipe. His sister-in-law is my daughter's 8th grade teacher. I heard about it from her in an email last night. And this isn't fear-mongering. This isn't me fear-mongering, propaganda, all the things that are said. This is what's really happening. I've been here 21 years. This didn't used to happen. I believe it's a direct result of the fact that we do not have enough officers on our street. I'm not an idiot. I get it. I am so angry that we do not have the attention to this that I think we need. Bob Lee the other night, and it was, oh, you can't talk about that. How dare you capitalize on it? Capitalize it, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like the NRA telling me that I can't talk about a mass shooting the day after and say we have to do something about it. I am tired of it. I have a letter from an 82-year-old man that went out to all of us the other day. President Peskin and I went to this man's house. In the middle of the day in the marina on Jefferson Street, he wrote to all of us. I'm not going to read it, I was going to. But he was jumped by 6 people in the middle of the day near the Palace of Fine Arts, where I have begged for extra officers because we've had 3 armed robberies of wedding photographers that goes all over the news in the entire world. And this man, President Peskin and I went to his home and visited him, 82 years old, jumped by 6 people, broken nose, bruised face, and he's sitting there saying to me, what more can be done? And I have to tell him we're 500 police officers short. And it sounds like excuses to my constituents, and I get it, and I get why they're angry. And this contract is a start. Yes, money motivates. Yes, Director Eisen knows what she's doing. Yes, the POA comes to this knowing what their officers want, knowing what works within their profession. They know what motivates. People actually love San Francisco and want to work here. When I graduated from St. Mary's in 1991, I had so many of my friends that wanted to be police officers in San Francisco because they loved the city. And they couldn't even get into the academy because there was a wait list for it. I remember my friend Ryan saying, oh my God, another time I missed the academy. There were 45, 50 people in the academy at that time. Our last graduating class was 12. It's a problem. And it's not just a problem of pay, it is a problem of morale, and it is a problem with the way that we treat our police officers and the way that we talk about them. And it doesn't mean we can't talk about the horrible thing that happened with George Floyd and how we need better policing and we need reform, but we have to understand that the basics are not being met in this city. And I'm never going to stop saying it no matter what people say about me. I'm never going to stop saying it. The basics are not being met. And this contract is a start. Like I said, I don't think it's enough. I actually am impressed that the POA agreed to this. I am thrilled that we came to some type of agreement. I know, I've talked to enough rank and file. I have friends that are married to police officers. This isn't just something that I do as a job. I live this. And again, I just want to be grateful to those that negotiated this contract. I want to be grateful to the rank and file who every day, and Supervisor Fuhrer used to say this, every day this is a dangerous job. You said something about, I don't know, we've done this for other departments. This is a different type of job. This is a job where you can get shot at. And things have changed over time. I wrote that down. There are so many guns on the street right now. There are ghost guns. Our nation is awash in guns. And this profession once didn't have the fear of being shot at like they do now. I talk to officers all the time, and it's very different. I'm in the gun violence prevention movement. This is a very different time. And the fact that anyone would do this job is, I can't understand. I can't understand that type of bravery. I can't understand that type of commitment. I do want to be very thankful because I work with so many incredible officers in Northern Station, Central Station, Park Station, Richmond Station. Those are the stations that cover District 2. And I'm grateful to them, and so many others are grateful to them. And as Supervisor Engardio says too, we need to change the conversation about how we talk about our police officers in this city. Because there are so many incredible ones that want to do the right thing, and I thank the ones that are staying. But again, this contract is a start. I think we should be documenting how many police officers we're hiring and how many are leaving, so we're hitting that number, almost like a capital campaign. When do we get to 500? And I believe we need 500. Everyone in my district practically believes we need to hit this number. We need to hit this number based on how we evaluate how many officers we need to keep the city safe. It's the basics, and nothing else is going to change in this city for the better until people feel safe. And I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. So I want this contract to go out of this committee to the full board with recommendation.